Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the November 22nd, 2022 New Bern Board of Aldermen meeting. The prayer tonight will be coordinated by Alderman Aster.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mayor, I'd like to introduce to the public Lieutenant Derek Dubay with the City of New Bern Police Department for 26 years, and he's going to lead us in prayer tonight.
Thank you, sir. Let's all bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we ask you to bless this meeting, bestow your wisdom and guidance on this board, and make decisions for our community and those who serve. May the board's actions be guided by your hand, and all the decisions be made fair and just to all. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Derek.
If you will, join me in the pledge for a flag of the country. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Alderman Creel.
Here.
Alderman Royal.
Here.
Alderman Aster.
Here.
Mayor Odham.
Here.
Alderman Kinsey.
Here.
Alderman Best.
Present.
Alderman Burnson.
Here.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Clerk. Board, if you have a chance to review the agenda, I'd entertain a motion to approve it.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. On to the consent agenda. It's the pleasure of the board.
Make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's have a roll call starting with Alderman Creel.
Alderman Creel.
Yes.
Alderman Royal.
Yes.
Alderman Aster.
Yes.
Alderman Kinsey.
Yes.
Alderman Best.
Yes.
Alderman Burnson.
Yes.
Mayor Odham.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 12, consider adopting a resolution approving an agreement with the New Bern Preservation Foundation for the purchase and sale of real property. Mr. City Manager.
Good evening, Mayor, Alderman. So as you know, we've been working with Preservation Foundation for several months on this project. At the last meeting, we were given direction to extend the time that interested parties could submit a proposal to the Preservation Foundation. In my conversations with representatives with that group today, they have received an additional 50 inquiries on that property and 3 to 4 serious inquiries. So now they've got about 8 to 10 very serious inquiries that they're looking at. So this agreement calls to sell this property on Rim Avenue for $48,250. The goal is for the closing to take place within 30 days of execution of the agreement. It also requires the Tisdale House to be relocated to the Rim Street property by February 15th of 2023.
Board have questions?
None.
In your conversation with the foundation today, are they comfortable with us moving forward with this tonight?
Yes,
Even
they are.
though they do have some new inquiries that they need to do research on?
Yes, they are, and they informed me that they would like to close on this as soon as possible as well.
Okay. If the board doesn't have any further comments, I would make a motion to adopt a resolution approving an agreement with the New Bern Preservation Foundation for the purchase and sale of real property.
Second.
I have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's have a roll call starting with Alderman Royal.
Alderman Royal.
Yes.
Alderman Aster.
Yes.
Alderman Kinsey.
Yes.
Alderman Best.
Yes.
Alderman Brinson.
Yes.
Alderman Creel.
Yes.
Mayor Odham.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 13, consider adopting a resolution approving a contract with Midwest Maintenance, Inc. for the City Hall repointing project.
So Mayor, as you're aware, back in 2018, we received damage to the City Hall building. We had water that intruded on the building by seeping in through the mortar joints, which caused damage to plaster in several areas of the courtroom as well as areas downstairs. So we worked with FEMA for quite some time. They allocated $200,000 to this project to repoint two sides of the building. In this current budget year, we've allocated an additional $200,000 to repoint two additional sides to the building. We bid this project out. We had two bidders on the first go-around. One was, one was Midwest Maintenance. The other was D&D Construction. By law, we had to rebid this to see if we had any other bidders. We did not. Midwest Maintenance had the most responsive bid. Their total amount was $564,108. So that also includes looking at some broken mortar joints that are currently on the building. So we do have to make up approximately $164,000 on this project. And so if you approve this, we will come back at the next meeting with a budget amendment for this.
Board have questions?
Foster, assuming that this resolution gets approved tonight, when would the contractor be looking to get started on the project?
They will start right after the first of the year, and it will take approximately 6 months for them to complete this project.
Is that going to present any conflict with the existing contractor that's working on the
No,
building?
sir. We've had those conversations as well. Really, right after the first of the year, the contractor here is going to be finished with the exterior brickwork, so they'll be focusing mainly on the inside. The brick contractor is going to start on a completely separate side, and this, the west side will be the last thing they end up doing to avoid any conflict with our current contractors.
Okay.
Foster, does this include some of the, I don't know, what, fascia or something that's missing? What is it?
Coping?
Coping that's missing, and they're going
It will include some of that. What we don't know is how much damage we've got, and so until they get up there and actually inspect, we won't know what all will be included with that.
okay.
Timing on when they would expect the project to be completed?
6 months from the start. So we anticipate June, maybe July at the latest. And of course, there's always a weather factor that we could face with that. But I do want to caution you, there will be scaffolding around City Hall. You know, the D&D Construction has been very good. They've only had work affecting the west side of the building. When these contractors come in, the sidewalks will not be blocked, but they will have scaffolding built over the sidewalks to make sure they have access to the building to do their work properly.
Question for you on that, because right out here, I have to get my bearings right out here where they are on the sidewalk.
Yes.
Typically, in my travels, when there's a construction going on, they build a walkway underneath. Is there any reason why they didn't do that here?
So far, it hasn't necessitated it. In talking with our safety coordinator and the building inspector, it hasn't been needed at this time. As they start coming up with the brick, they may have to do that. So we're constantly having conversations with them about that.
Okay.
We want to make sure that the work site is safe for everyone, that the citizens that are walking on the sidewalk as well as the workers.
And my last question, is the contractor stating that the work they perform is going to prevent that from happening? The moisture that's seeping back through the new plaster that's been installed?
We certainly hope it will. In our conversations with FEMA, this was deemed the best course, and also in dealing with SHPO, repointing of the mortar was going to be the step we had to take because we weren't able to apply any sealer or coating to the building because of historic guidelines.
I could say a whole lot, but I'm not going to do it. So.
Also, you made mention that until the inspection takes place, that the contractor does not know the degree of the work that will be necessary. How will that affect the cost?
So it's subject to have a change order. If that comes through, then we'll come back to the board on that. So we know they actually took a drone and looked at the mortar joints, and if you've looked at the mortar joints on this building, they're about a 1/4 inch as opposed to a traditional 3/8 inch on a traditional brick construction. And so it's going to be a very fine saw cuts when they do this. Any additional work outside of that is going to be some of the coping and some of the molding around like windows and things. And if you look on the east side of the building on the second floor right below these windows, you'll see where there are hunks of basically that concrete that are missing. Those would be the areas that would be fixed. And I don't think we're looking at all of them, but we're looking at significant pieces of that.
So I didn't notice, does the 564K include a contingency or not?
It does not include a contingency. It does include the cost for the mortar. As we were vetting this process with FEMA, it was best determined that the city purchase the mortar, and we have to purchase the special mortar because this building was constructed in the late 1890s. 1890s. We had to get a special mortar that matches what was built at the time this building was constructed. And so there are only certain places in the country that do that. So we're looking at a couple of pallets of mortar mix that are coming in for the contractors to use for that.
Given the cost of the bids that were received, is there any opportunity to go back to FEMA to try to get them to allocate additional funds?
No, sir, this was a fixed cost project, and with a fixed cost project, they will not readdress. And we have had those conversations with a variety of we've had quite a few FEMA projects throughout the last few years, and once they assign a price, they do not deviate from that.
I think staff is looking into some grant opportunities for preservation of the historic structure, so that's always on the table. We just haven't heard back on any of those yet.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to consider adopting a resolution approving a contract with Midwest Maintenance, Inc. for the City Hall repointing project.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second, any discussion?
Hey, Foster, is this Midwest the same people that are doing the county building?
No, it is not. The group that did the county building was an individual sole proprietor out of the Greensboro area, and they didn't even bid on this project. They had other projects going on that competed with this.
Hearing no more discussion, I'd like to have a roll call, starting with Alderman Aster.
Alderman Aster.
Yes.
Alderman Kinsey.
Yes.
Alderman Best.
Yes.
Alderman Brinson.
Yes.
Alderman Creel.
Yes.
Alderman Royal.
Yes.
Mayor Odom.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 14, consider adopting a resolution approving the sale of 806 Main Street. Mr. Hughes.
First Missionary Baptist Church has made an offer to purchase this property. The offer for $2,000. The offer was advertised, but no upset bids received. The tax value of this parcel is $4,000. City and Craven County acquired the property in 2009 through tax foreclosure. At that time, taxes, interest, penalties, fees, and costs due to the county were $2,167.90 and $845.82 to the city. If this property is sold for the initial offer, the county will receive $1,188.45, and the city will receive $811.55 from the proceeds.
Board, any discussion or comments or questions?
Just for my reference, since we're selling it to a church, it's going to be tax exempt going forward?
That's correct.
Okay.
Mayor, I make a motion that we adopt a resolution approving the sale of 806 Main Street.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's have a roll call, starting with Alderman Kinsey.
Yes.
Alderman Best.
Yes.
Alderman Brinson.
Yes.
Alderman Creel.
Yes.
Alderman Royal.
Yes.
Alderman Aster.
Yes.
Mayor Odom.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 15, consider adopting a resolution to designate ARP Act of 2021 funds. Mr. Hughes.
I'd like to ask Ms. Ostrom to make this presentation.
On May 25th, 2021, the board adopted a budget ordinance establishing the American Rescue Plan Fund in amount of $6,704,351. Eligible categories of use under the final rule include support for the COVID-19 public health and economic response. Shall we start over? So on May 25th, 2021, the board adopted a budget ordinance establishing the American Rescue Plan Fund in the amount of $6,704,351. Eligible categories of use under the final rule include support for the COVID-19 public health and economic response, water, sewer, broadband infrastructure, premium pay, and replacement of lost public sector revenue. As explained in our November 3rd, 2022 retreat, this resolution will authorize the city to elect the standard allowance for lost revenue. This will also, as a reminder, offset and set aside the funding for the ARP-enabled projects that you have on your list.
Okay. Board, any questions?
Yes, I don't have a quick question, but Kim, can you explain that a little bit more in detail, please?
Sure.
Because I've had some questions asked from constituents.
Okay. So the ARP funding has some very restrictive guidelines, on how you can spend that money. The standard allowance is an option that we have up to $10 million. Those that receive funds for up to $10 million can choose the standard allowance. And what that does is it basically allows you to spend that money in any way that you would like, as long as you have statutory authority. So what we're going to do is submit the police wages towards the ARP funds because it's an allowable expense, and then we will be reimbursed by ARP basically for that $6.7 million, and that will then be set aside for your ARP-enabled projects that you have on your list. In every year, we will commit the balance, a fund balance for those projects.
So Alderman Best, in a nutshell, it basically takes that ARP funds and moves it over, and it satisfies the paperwork that we have to do. We don't have a time limit after this for ARP funding. So if we end up having a stormwater project that may take a little bit longer, we're not tied to that 2 years from now deadline.
Thank you.
And then within our general ledger, we're tracking all of these as well, so that we could pull a report at any given time to show you what we're spending that ARP money on.
Thank you.
Any other questions, board? I entertain a motion to approve item number 15.
Mayor, I make a motion that we adopt the resolution to designate American Rescue Plan Act for 2021 funds.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, let's have a roll call starting with Alderman Best.
Alderman Best,
Yes?
Alderman Brunson,
Yes.
Alderman Creel,
Yes.
Alderman Royal,
Yes.
Alderman Aster.
Yes.
Alderman Kinsey,
Yes.
Mayor Odom.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 16, consider adopting a budget ordinance amendment for FY 22-23.
Mayor, I'd like to ask Ms. Oster to make this presentation as well.
This budget ordinance reestablishes the encumbrances for purchase orders outstanding as of June 30th, 2022, that will be honored in fiscal year 2023. And that total was $1,208,393. It also amends the general fund by transferring the $6,704,351 from the American Rescue Plan Fund to cover the public safety salaries and benefits that we just talked about. And it amends the grants fund to recognize a $350,000 award from the Department of Justice for the Community-Oriented Policing Services Grant. The grant requires no matching funds and will be used for a licensed clinician and 2 qualified professionals from RHA Health Services to provide crisis assessments through the police department as outlined in the memo of understanding approved by the board on June 14, 2022.
Board have questions?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt a budget ordinance amendment for FY 2022-23 as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's have a roll call starting with Alderman Brinson.
Yes.
Alderman Brunson, Alderman Creel,
Yes.
Alderman Royal,
Yes.
Alderman Aster,
Yes.
Alderman Kinsey,
Yes.
Alderman Best,
Yes.
Mayor Odom.
Yes, motion carries. Do not see any appointments on the list. Does anyone have one that I missed? Okay, moving on to number 18, Attorney's Report.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
City Manager's Report.
Yes, sir, I've got a few things for you. First of all, I'd like to say after a 2-month search, I'm pleased to announce that we have hired our new Director of Parks and Recreation. Carrie Warren has been selected out of 96 applicants, and this was a national search. Carrie has her bachelor's degree in Recreation and Leisure Studies and a master's degree in Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Management. She is a certified Parks and Recreation professional and a licensed therapeutic recreation specialist. She started working for the city originally in 2015 and has previously served as a special project coordinator and special event coordinator. She has served as interim director since September 21, and she's done a very good job in keeping things going, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Carrie proceeds as our next director. And this time, Carrie, if you'd like to make any comments, please come up.
Good evening. I don't have much to say. I'm pretty quiet, but I'm thankful for the opportunity, and I look forward to continuing working for this city and the department.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Carrie.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Carrie, when will they light up Union Point?
The day after Thanksgiving.
Great.
I was going to say she has little shoes to fill, but that probably wouldn't suit you too well, would it?
I do want to give you an update on the house at 1601 High Street. We received word from Rebuild NC today that they were applying for a demolition permit. Development Services did receive that. Contractors are expected to be on site Monday to start tearing that house down. So that's good news. They're able to give you that really 3 weeks in advance on that. For the folks that have been on this board for a while, here's our budget book. Some of you may have noticed, the older board members, that this thing changed a little bit. We've added a lot of things. For the new board members, we've added quite a few things. And one of the reasons we did that is because we kind of like to get some awards from time to time. And so I want to give Kim all the credit, Kim and her staff and our department heads, all the credit in the world for the work they did in us receiving the Distinguished Budget Award. This is the first time that we have received this award, and it's based on the preparation of this budget document. So we're very excited about that. And Kim, if you'd like to make any comments.
As Foster had just said, it's a collaborative effort among all of our departments, and so all the hard work that our department heads and administrative assistants put into making this happen, we are just very appreciative of that. But I really need to do a shout out to our senior accountant Tanya Harms and our accounting tech Ann Costco, who really put in the blood, sweat, and tears to make this happen. We were really pushing against the deadline. We had a lot of things happening at the same time, especially with audit, and they still made this a success. So it's a beautiful document, and very, very proud of our staff and the efforts that all the departments put in. So thank you.
Congratulations.
Tell me this, is this the first time that we entered?
The first time we have ever applied for this award, and the first time we have ever received the Distinguished Budget Award.
What
That's
was
correct.
some of the criterias?
Kim, would you like to mention that? And I may have that information.
Sure. It's pretty extensive. We have to basically tell the story of our budget and what our services are, tell the story of our city. We have to have strategic plans listed. There's, I could actually forward you the checklist that we have, but you know what?
And I will say this, I did find my sheet here. They have to satisfy nationally recognized guidelines that have been established by the Government Finance Officers Association. And the guidelines are designed to assess how well our budget serves in 4 different categories. And that's a policy document, a financial plan, an operations guide, and a communications device. And so you're actually able to go on to the Government Finance Officers Association website to look at how our budget compares to others as well, and really excited that we've been able to receive this award.
So did we get a trophy? We got
We got a certificate that they're going to frame. We're going to have a copy at City Hall and one at Finance Office.
And I do have to add, I was told from members of GFOA that typically we don't receive it the first time you apply for it, and so we were successful and received it the very first time. That was a challenge for us.
So you have it back in your office tonight?
I'm
It's
sorry?
in your office.
I think it's in the mail.
It's in the mail?
It's in the mail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, congratulations on Kim, to you and your staff. Job well done.
And Mayor, the final thing I have tonight is two things. One, the city offices will be closed this Thursday and Friday for Thanksgiving holiday, so employees can spend well-rested time with their families. Some staff will be working, so please keep them in your thoughts. Also, this Friday, very Merry Christmas starts, so we will have the tree lighting at Union Point Park. We encourage all the citizens to come participate in this. If any of the governing board would like to come and you'd like to say a few words, we'll be on the stage. That event is going to start, singing will start about 5 p.m. and the tree lighting ceremony will start just a little after 6 p.m. And then everyone will come downtown for the light up the season at Bear Plaza. So a lot of events and activities. I understand it could possibly rain this Friday, so we're going to monitor the weather, and if we have to make any decisions, we'll do that at some point early Friday afternoon. Ice skating will also be starting at Union Point Park on Friday, and it will be going Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday through the holiday season. We're excited about that, and we've also added a few more light fixtures down at Union Point Park, so when you get an opportunity starting this weekend, please check that out. City staff has also been quite busy putting holiday decorations up throughout our beautiful city. So it's always a magical time in New Bern, and so we're looking forward to a great holiday season.
Foster, I did get confirmation this afternoon that we're okay to broadcast what we talked about. Do you want to share that with the public?
Yes, New Bern is in the playoffs, the next round. That is going to be held at New Bern High School. And for those that would really like to come to Barry Mary in downtown, we are going to be broadcasting that game live downtown on the big screen at the intersection of Middle and Pollock Street. So it should be a really exciting time for that as well.
I know not everyone that comes to light up the season would go to a football game and vice versa, so we're just trying to give everybody an opportunity if you want to participate in both. So thank you for doing that. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay, we'll go to new business, starting with Alderman Brinson.
Okay. In keeping with our agreement that we would do some discussion on things that we have done recently, I attended the November 7th Craven County Commissioner meeting and found out that Craven County is in dire need of foster families. Craven County currently has 14 foster families, but is approaching 120 children in their foster system. What that means is we've sent almost 3/4 of our foster children out of county or into an institution. And if you're interested in learning more about the foster family system, call the Hope Family Resource Center at 252-636-6472. And again, Brenda and board, I'll send these comments to you guys so you'll have them if people ask you. But again, that's the Hope Family Resource Center. They are under Craven County at 252-636-6472. It's an indicator of our continued fight against drugs here in Craven County is what's causing that to go up. I also attended the Craven County Veterans Stand Down on November 9th. That event served over 100 veterans. I think next year we need to advertise this event not just for homeless veterans and veterans in need, but also for veterans that are looking for information. There were so many local and state resources there, not just supplying goods and services, but valuable information for any veteran. And so I think, especially me, when I advertised that it's for homeless and those in need, I kind of stayed away from it. But there were so many resources there, they just want to reach out and let folks know what's going on and what resources are available. And then on Veterans Day, I attended the Craven County Veterans Luncheon. We had almost 200 veterans there. And Virginia Spencer, an Army veteran and owner of Carolina Creations right across the street here, received the Veteran of the Year Award. And Bob Cusick, a Marine Corps veteran, received the Lifetime Achievement Award. And then, as announced at our last meeting, Wreaths Across America ceremony will be at noon on December 17th at New Bern National Cemetery. And then after the ceremony, volunteers will place wreaths at the National Cemetery, and for the very first time, they will be placing wreaths on the 63 veterans' graves in Greenwood Cemetery on Cypress Street. Looking forward to doing that. And then I bring this up again because November 28th is the last day to sponsor wreaths in time to have them shipped for the December 17th ceremony. So please do not wait on that. That is coming very quickly, less than a week. Go to wreathsacrossamerica.org and do a location lookup of New Bern to sponsor wreaths at either cemetery. And then, Board, I had sent an email to all of you letting you know that I would be proposing 2 projects tonight for ARPA-enabled funds. And so for the public, the first one, the College Park Drainage Improvements Project, will replace the drain pipe running from Princeton Lane cul-de-sac to the ditch behind the properties at 1500 and 1501 Princeton Lane, and regrade the pipe running away from that ditch behind the properties facing Princeton Lane and Queens Court. The first pipe runs between the driveways of the properties at 1500 and 1501 Princeton Lane, and will therefore cause some disruption to them for about 2 weeks as we replace that pipe, as well as replacing their driveways since we tore them up. This is a known issue because the ditch backs up due to the reverse grade of the pipe between Princeton Lane and Queens Court, and it also pushes water onto Princeton Lane because of the low height of its pipe. So I would like to make a motion to approve the College Park Drainage Improvements Project for $155,000 paid for with ARPA-enabled funds.
Second?
A motion and a second. Just a question for clarification. Do we need this on like a resolution to make this formal? Do we need to be moving the budget monies around, or is this okay to do it this way?
We can do it this way. We'll come back with a budget amendment
Okay.
at the next meeting.
So I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
Okay. And the second one is the Pinehurst Drive pump station upgrade, which will replace the pump station at the end of Pinehurst Drive that is starting to show signs of failure and has no redundancy. It'll be replaced with 2 pumps and allow an external generator to be attached during the loss of grid power. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the Pinehurst Drive pump station upgrade for $567,892 paid for with ARPA-enabled funds.
Have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. And then that brings my ARPA-enabled funds for Ward 6 to 0. So that taps me out. So last thing I'd like to say is happy Thanksgiving to both the staff and our citizens and the board. The good book says that we're supposed to give thanks in everything. So, first of all, thanks to my Lord and Savior for salvation. And then I'm also thankful that our elections are finally over and the board is set. And I'm also thankful that we seem to have a good relationship on this board amongst all our members. And so I am also thankful for that. So happy Thanksgiving.
Alderman Brinson, I just want to thank you. I knew that coming into this position as mayor, I was going to get asked to be a lot of places and do a lot of things. I didn't know it was going to be quite as much as it was, to be honest with you. It seems like every day there's a request, but I asked Alderman Brinson, with his passion and experience and background being in the military, if he would sort of help be the liaison between the city of New Bern and those type of events. And Bob has stepped up graciously, and he's attended several of them that I couldn't make. So I appreciate you doing that very much. Thank you. Alderman Best.
Yes, the Christmas parade is next Saturday, correct? So we're all gonna be, on a city float?
I think the float this year is going to be a red fire engine.
Okay.
Next year, the plan is to have a float. Staff's going to have time to build one, but we're going to do a fire truck this year is what staff is telling me we've got time to do.
So are we gonna, have on our red Santa hats?
Absolutely, I think you should. And we'll be reaching out to you the first of next week with the times and things like that and where to meet.
No, I'm serious, are we gonna be wearing Santa hats?
Yes, and Mayor will furnish them.
Okay. All right. I was trying to find a military angle so I could pass that one off to Bob, but I don't think there is one there, so we'll take care of that.
Thank you, sir.
And the last thing that I have, city manager, Mr. Hughes and Mr. Williams and, Mayor Odham, and, Mr. Avery Smith and Mr. George Childs. I'm wanting to have a meeting, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday next week, so after lunch, which probably, I'll say 1 o'clock-ish, if y'all could free your calendar, and I think, George is gonna be sending out an email, and what it's in reference to is, I would like for us to, I know George said we're gonna discuss more in detail the North Hill Simmons Street engineer's report study that was finalized. We're gonna discuss that, and then from there, we're gonna, actually, he's gonna have, the engineers there to go over this information. So, I really would like to have this information up front, and not reading through an email. I like to have the engineers there presently, so at the meeting, so that I can ask questions. The problem is that we have some issues with the Duffield Canal, and a lot of it is bank erosion, and it's washing away the property lines of people's homes, and this is not something that just happened within the last 3 to 5 years. This has been an ongoing thing with this erosion, and that's one of the issues that I'm facing, and I've had a lot of citizens contact me about that. So if y'all could be so, graciously to reschedule your schedule, move some appointments around if you're, available next Tuesday or Wednesday at 1 o'clock to meet, I would appreciate it. And that's all that I have.
Okay. Alderman McKenzie.
I'd like to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and I'm pretty sure that you're going to have a great day and a great time with family time and family and friends, so enjoy yourself. Foster, by the way, where are we with the space study? Where are we with that now?
We will be coming back to the board at the December 13th meeting for you to vote on the recommendation that we have spoken with all the board members on.
Okay.
The goal is for that to be implemented 1st of January.
Okay. And then that's when you'll release the information to us?
That information, we should have the final document back at some point next week, and we'll be releasing that.
All right, thank you. That's it, sir.
All right, Alderman Aster.
I don't have anything other than this morning I had the opportunity to attend Coffee with Cops. Bob and I were there, and it was very nice. I had the opportunity to meet several police officers that I'd never met before, and even had the opportunity to recruit a police officer to do tonight's opening prayer. But I did enjoy it, and I'm trying to get them so that maybe we can schedule it for the Dunkin' Donuts over on my side of the river one day soon, and it was very nice. And that's all I have.
I appreciate a former fireman reaching out to the other side of the public service aisle. I'd make a suggestion, instead of coffee with cops, I think we continue to do that, but we should do Franks with firemen. So let's have a hot dog weenie roast with the firemen at the firehouse. What do you think?
That's all I have, sir.
All right,
We can do it if you want to pay for it. I'm sure that they'll help.
all right, we'll see what we can do.
All right.
Alderman Royal.
I would like to certainly wish everyone a happy and very restful Thanksgiving. In addition to that, while I was on the campaign trail, I talked with my constituents and made commitments that I would come back to the communities and visit with them and host town hall meetings. And so I'm making good on my word. On December 5th, we will meet with the residents in the Southgate, Carolina Avenue Apartments, Camden Square, and the Trent Boulevard corridor. And if there's any residents that are tuned in tonight, I want them to be aware that we will be coming. I'm so thankful for the staff that will be attending with me. Our mayor will be present, along with our city manager, along with the chief of police and the assistant city manager and public works. And so we will visit that community on December 5th at 6 p.m. And Peloton Ministries, Dr. Dawn Gibson will be hosting at her church. And I look forward to meeting with the residents concerning issues and concerns that they have in their communities.
Very good. Anything else? Is that all?
Yes, sir.
All right. Alderman Prill.
I have no new business this evening. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Just one thing, Mr. Manager, do we need to take some action for the potential rain date for Berry Mary, since we took action to close the streets on Friday?
Yes, sir. So Berry Mary did not request a rain date when the street closure was initially proposed. So just to be on the safe side, we think it would be prudent for a potential street closure if need be, and it has to be rescheduled for Saturday.
So board, just looking for a motion and a second to have a rain date alternative to the Berry Mary events that's scheduled for Friday night.
What is the suggestion?
It would be for the next night, Saturday night, sorry. If it rains out Friday night, they would move it to Saturday night.
Do you need a motion?
I'd say
Yeah.
Yes, motion and a
So
second,
moved.
please.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Just want to say welcome to Ms. Tiffany Askew, the Executive Director for the Housing Authority, that's joined us tonight. Glad to see her here. I listened in on their meeting yesterday, and just let the public know that the city and the Housing Authority is working very well together. We're trying to make progress, especially at Trent Court. We're starting to see some traction in a couple different areas, which is very positive. So thank you for your efforts there. All right, do we need a closed session?
Yes, sir. Pursuant to 143-318-11A6, we need a session to discuss a personnel issue. Matter.
And that will be to conduct the city manager's annual performance evaluation. So do we have a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We are in closed session. Thank you.